and welcome to this week's video. So you might be wondering, well, what's the topic going to be this week? What can we talk about heading into those, the countdowns on now until that big day? And so when I kind of checked in and asked to know what is it that needed to be talked about, what came through this week was the word disappointment. And I thought, wow, that's a bit of a strange thing to be talking about a few weeks into Christmas. And then I realized that, well, let's be honest, Christmas, although it has got, great joy, great fun, if you've got little kids in particular, is that whole excitement. But then sometimes at Christmas, we think back on Christmases past and we think about people that were in our lives that are not there any longer. Maybe we think about relationships that have been fractured and we wish that that person was around our dinner table, but for whatever circumstances they're not. All of these things. So Christmas tends to be a time that brings up a whole array of emotions, yeah? And that's just how it is, yeah? And I guess the thing, it's acknowledging that. It's acknowledging that Christmas is a time where sometimes we can be a bit emotional, where it's got the highs and it's got the lows. But in terms of disappointment, which is what I've been guided to talk about in this video, I want to tell a little story about last weekend. And that story is that I moved to Queensland nearly 2 years ago, and there are many differences between New South Wales and Queensland. And one of the differences, funny enough, is Christmas trees. Yeah, Christmas trees. And what I mean by that is that it's really hard to get a live Christmas tree in Queensland. You've actually got to be out there first weekend in December and actually get your tree. If you don't and you wait till the weekend after, by and large, trees are all gone. Now last year I didn't realize this and I just was, moved into a new house and we were just about, so you can imagine Christmas tree was not on the priority list. So when I went to get one about the 7th or 8th of December, they were all gone. And so this year I thought, okay, I'm going to be there. I'm going to get there early. So we found a place. And so Saturday morning I headed off with my daughter and I'm like, yep, I got cash out of the ATM. I'm like, I'm ready to go. So we get there and it's a big property. It's a big, huge, long queue. So we sit and we sit and we sit and we go really slow. It reminded me of, Sydney traffic. And then we get there, I put down my window and the lady said, what's your order number? And I was like, oh, I don't have one. And she said, oh, sorry, all the trees are pre-ordered. And I had this sense of I know it's only a tree, but this sense of disappointment really literally overwhelmed my body. I'm like, oh, you kidding? I said, I thought I was doing so good by going the right weekend and getting there early to realize that it was a step that I had missed out on, a previous step, which was the pre-ordering of the tree. Anyway, I spoke to them and they said, look, there's a few more trees coming in. And what's interesting about the trees is when I looked up the trees initially, there was 5 and 6 foot trees. And I thought, oh, I love big trees. It's one of my splurges. And I really wanted a big, as I call it, a big ass Christmas tree, yeah? Anyway, when they came back to me and they said, listen, there's actually going to be a few 9 foot trees available. So I was like, yes, please, I'll take it. So last night we went up to their place, we got the tree, an incredible tree. And the reason I'm sharing this, as I would say, long ass story, is that that tree is a real good symbol of how life works. First of all, I wasn't asking for the tree I actually wanted. I didn't want a 5 or 6 foot tree. I actually wanted a bigger tree. But I didn't know it was possible to get the tree. So I only asked for a 5 or 6 foot. But guess what? The universe knew better. The universe knew what my true desire was. So I didn't get what I was asking for. I got what my heart was desiring, which was a much bigger tree. Now, when on Saturday when we didn't get the tree, I didn't go into the usual, I can't believe it. Life's not fair, bloody Queensland, da 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 da. I didn't do any of that. I was just, I'm actually trusting that I'm going to get my perfect tree. That's all. I've got my vision. I'm just going to get my perfect tree, however that happens to be. And guess what? It was delivered, literally to me, a few days later. So if there's things in your life that in 2022, or whatever year it is, yeah, whether it's 2022, 2020, it doesn't really matter. There's things in your life that you haven't quite achieved yet. And I'm not talking about the things that you wag your finger on about the shoulds. I'm talking about the things that actually make your heart happy, that actually make your soul happy, that light you up inside. Those things. Then come 2023, make a commitment that you're going to actually start about visualizing, thinking about what it is that you actually want to create, and you're going to make this happen. Yeah, that's the way of thinking. It's like, all right, this is actually what I want. Don't ask for a 5 or 6 foot tree if you want a 9 foot tree. Don't do what I did. Ask for a 10 foot tree or a 9 foot tree. So when you start asking for things, from this moment forward, as you listen to this video, I want you to say the wording in and around what needs to happen so that I can have X, Y, Z, whatever that happens to be in your world, or better. And then just let that universal energy work it out. And then the last thing I want to say is, in the last 2 videos, you'll have heard me saying that I have launched my program for anxiety. I launched 30 spaces. I have only sent out emails to my client base. Haven't done any Facebook, Instagram, any kind of advertising yet. I've been working on putting together a masterclass. 23 people have signed up, which I am so happy about. Our first Zoom is tonight, the Tuesday night. Now, it's a self-paced program, so there isn't like you haven't missed out if you haven't missed like the first week of it, because you get the first week anyway. It's designed that you can join anytime. But if you have stress or anxiety, any level of it, I can promise you, you will never, ever, ever get 12 audios of me for $97 again, ever. The reason you're getting it at $97 is because I know this is my first online program to put together. So I'm, I suppose, wise enough to know there'll be a few technical glitches and a few little things that need to be ironed out. Hence the reason for the $97 for the whole program. There are 7 spots left, 7 spaces. So it really is up to you. If you have stress, if you have anxiety, click on the link below. Join the program. Because as soon as the 30 spaces are, it's $97 a month. So if that's you, I trust that you'll know it's the right thing for you. Regardless, have an amazing week. As we would say in Ireland, stay between the ditches, aka try to keep a bit of balance with everything that's going on at this time of year when the energy is ramped up. And I will talk to you next week. See you then. Don't forget, click on the link below if you've got stress or anxiety. If you are enlightened and you don't, then don't click on the link. If you've got already achieved enlightenment, you don't need it. But if you're like most of us, who have some level of struggle, some level of stress, sometimes anxious, yucky feelings in the body, click on the link and get yourself best Christmas present ever. See you then.